Uh. Yeah.
To the premier edition of the program Roadside Legal Education. On this program, as usual, we talk about everything that concerns the law in plain language so that the man on the street can understand and apply them to his day-to-day life. And we are so excited that you found this channel and you've subscribed to it. And we are so happy to educate you on your rights and how you can stand up for yourself whenever you feel your right is being infringed upon. As we always tell you here, on this program, we teach you the law in plain language. We leave out all the big jargons that lawyers speak when they talk about the law in law courts. And my name is Jason, and I welcome you to this wonderful channel that teaches you everything that has to do with the law. Welcome back. On this episode, we're going to talk about buying of stolen property. Of course, if you're in Nigeria, I am sure that at one time or the other, you must have bought a used item somewhere, either from the market or from your neighbor or from your friend or from somebody that you know. Now, you must also have heard stories or have known people who have either bought stolen property and have landed them in trouble. Either they've been taken by the police or taken to court for buying items that were later found out to be stolen. Now we're going to talk about how, as a person, you can avoid buying items that are stolen in order to save yourself from trouble. Recently, we went to bail out a friend who was taken into custody by the National Security and Civil Defense Corps for buying a stolen phone. This friend is a very good friend. He has a shop where he repairs phones and laptops. But somebody brought a phone to him to swap, and then somehow the story got mixed up somewhere. Both of them didn't have receipts for the phones that they have. He gave the person a higher phone, the person gave him a lower phone, and then there was a balance of about 20,000, I think. But the person said it was his in-law that bought the phone for him, so he didn't have the receipts of the phone he brought in. It was later found out that the phone was actually stolen from a lady who lived just a few streets away, who took the case to the civil defense, who tracked the phone to my friend and found out he was in possession of a stolen phone and he was taken into custody. Of course, by law, he did wrong because he bought a property without a receipt. Now, in order to avoid falling into this kind of trap, the law provides that if you are buying a property, whatever it is, an item, a smartphone, a car, even a house, a computer, anything, if you're buying it, it is expected that you buy it in a market overt. Now, what is a market overt? I'll tell you what the law says about a market overt. The law says a market overt is a designated place where properties of a particular sort are being sold. Now, assuming this person went to a place where people sell these sort of things. Let's say in Abuja, you go to Banex. In Lagos, you go to Computer Village. Let's say you want to buy a phone now or a laptop. Now, if you go to these kinds of places to buy, the law absolves you of buying a stolen property. One, because where you're buying from, there's a shop there. The places are identifiable. Person you're buying from can be identified. So, in the event that the property you bought was found out to be stolen, the law has taken the burden off you of buying a stolen property and has placed it on the person from whom you buy. Or assuming you want to buy a property and you are not buying it from a market overt, even though we highly recommend that you buy from a market overt. But let's say you want to buy a car and the person you're buying the car from does not have a car stand, or you're not buying it from where cars are being sold. Let's say it's just a personal item. What is expected of you to do is you are supposed to take the item you're buying and the person who is selling the item to you to a police station to get a police extract. Now, the person submits their passport and their address to the Nigerian police. In that case, you are covered, because if that item is eventually found to be stolen, the law has taken the responsibility of you buying a stolen property onto the person who sold it to you, because you have fulfilled every requirement of the law that prevents you from being an accessory to crime or to buying a stolen item. So, in simple language, or in conclusion of this whole thing, what the law says is, if you're buying a property it is expected that you buy it from a market overt. Now, what is a market overt? A market overt is a place where, an open market of course, where items of a particular sort are being sold. Let's say if you're buying a car, you go to where cars are being sold. If you're buying a phone, you go to a market where phones are being sold. If you're buying a laptop, you go to a market where laptops are being sold. In that case, the law assumes that you cannot know if Mr. Dele, who owns a shop in Computer Village, is sells stolen property. You cannot know if Mr. John, who has a shop in Banex in Abuja, sells stolen property. You cannot possibly know if Mr. Hassan, who has a shop in Makarfi Plaza in Kaduna State, sells stolen property. So the law has taken the burden off of you of buying stolen property if you go to a market overt to buy any of such items. First of all, let where you're buying from have an address. Let it be a shop that you can identify. Let the person who sold it to you be somebody that you can identify. Of course, you can buy from a ghost. And thirdly, let there be a receipt. Now, a receipt is a proof that money was given and taken as against whatever item that you are collecting or that is being given. Now, that covers you from anything that has to do with stolen property. So, in order to save yourself the trouble, if you are not buying from a market overt and the person who is selling to you does not have a proper receipt to identify the property that he's selling to you, you are expected to take that person and that property to the police station and get a police extract. And the person is expected to submit their passport photograph and address so that if anything happens, the police don't have anything to do with you. You are literally safe. The person who sold it to you will be the one who will go in for it. So I believe this is explanatory enough for you, and this will help you in your future decisions on buying items, used items, so that you don't buy stolen property that will land you in trouble. So in summary, buy from a market overt, ensure you get a receipt, ensure that where you're buying from has an address, the person you're buying from can be identified, and if all of these requirements are not fulfilled, please do not entangle yourself in such a transaction. And if the person you're buying from who does not have an address or who does not have a receipt and he refuses to follow you to police station to get a police extract, please do not buy for your own safety. So that's about it for this episode of the program. If you have any questions, any comments, please do well to drop them in the comment section, and we'll do well to attend to them in our next episode. Once again, thank you for subscribing to Roadside Legal Education. Do tell your friends about us and turn on the notification button so that when next we drop a new video, you'll be the first to get notified. My name again is Jason, and see you next week. Bye.